What you see in the ground here in the garden, that was a pansy. It was a beautiful pansy. Another one, and there are two more like that. You can't even tell. That one too, in between the sticks, is still a pansy. And one over there. And they were gorgeous. And there's a baby rabbit. I think it's living under all of that. And it ate my pansies. So I was gonna just leave them. I have sedums to fill in different areas. See, that one's doing very well this year. I have planted a tree, and I'm gonna fill that space in with sedums. And I was gonna just say, oh well, I lost my pansies, but I'm gonna try something different. This is a grow bag, and they're very fairly inexpensive, and I'm going to put my pansies, I'm going to dig them back up again, and I'm going to put all 4 plants in this 3-gallon grow bag. And I'm not sure if I'm going to like these or not. I'm used to buying these type of plastic containers, and at times the plants do have bugs, but if this will work, it'll be a wonderful thing for drainage. My only concern is that ants or earwigs might chew the fabric. They're non-woven, like a tarp fabric. So that's what we're going to try with the pansies. So here they are in the grow bag. And they had developed bigger roots from when I transplanted them out there until now. So they're not quite at dirt level right now, because I'm going to add more soil around them. And then I'll take this, I could have done it outside, but I'm going to put it in a bathtub and soak the soil, and then I'll put them on a chair on the porch and give them a week or so to recover. I mean, they're just too pretty to leave out there with the rabbit continually eating them. So what I'll be finding out, and this, in the long run, my real question is, could I grow trees like this? Are these grow bags good enough to put a small tree in it? Because you can get these, I think they go as big as 5 gallons. And they're lighter, cheaper, easier. You don't have to fill them up all the way. If you have a smaller plant, you can roll this down. So this is my grow bag test. Okay, now this is another little part of my test. I really do think these would be wonderful if they work, if they hold up. I forget what I paid. I think I got 10 of them for like $13. So they should be perfect. This is to transplant, a soilless transplant mix that normally I let get very damp before I put anything in it, because it doesn't hold moisture quickly. So I've planted them in here. These are absolutely beautiful. You can't really tell by this one blossom. They're huge, beautiful blue and yellow and purple pansies. Anyway, I've got them in there, and then I top watered them with about 2 quarts of water. But now part of the test is I want to see if this fabric will also wick up the moisture. So I have the whole bag sitting in about 2 inches of water. So 2 quarts went in here. That would normally in a garden be enough to water these plants in, but the bottom half here is probably all dry transplant mix. So I want this bag soaked, and I want the water to wick up through the fabric. If that ends up being true, then that's a real added bonus for being able to get the soil damp before you plant something. I could fill a couple of these, sit them in a tub of water like that, and get the soil damp without, the other option is to just dampen the soil in a bin, and then you're dealing with mud. If I can do it in the actual bag, it would be easier and cleaner. So I'm gonna see how many hours it might take for this bag to feel completely damp. And I do expect it to be hours. There are other videos online where people use these and seem to be very happy with them. A couple of things. One, if I use them for trees, I don't think that's their normal use. I think trees would normally still go into plastic, so that would be like trying to adapt them. The other plants I plan on putting in these are marigolds and geraniums. And, you know, it's like going to the store and buying yourself a geranium, only now you can put these around the yard. You can move plants around if you're lighting, if you get shade in the afternoon or something, you can move them around. But just the idea of a pretty little black container, a simple container, and bright geraniums and marigolds or pansies. It's a wonderful design element, and now I just want to make sure that the plants actually do well in them. This is a much better view of the grow bag with the pansies. I left them in that tub of water only for about an hour. All the fabric is damp, but not wet. I know that the upper portion, about this much, is at least damp. And now I'm going to wait and see how they do and how quickly it dries out and how often they would have to be watered. One of the advantages of putting them in the ground is that there's really less watering. There's always more watering with container gardening. They look pretty straggly, but there's still hope. So these will be here. I expect it'll take about a week for them to put out new leaves and maybe a few blossoms. But this is only June, so it was a shame to let the rabbit continue eating them. It mostly, at first, it took all the blossoms, and then little by little was nibbling on the leaves. There's another blossom over here. So this is a way that you can, if you have rabbit damage or skunk damage, squirrels, chipmunks, a lot of them will nibble at the garden. And if you have damaged plants like that, these grow bags are actually a little bit more convenient than traditional containers. Especially, now I've got this up on a chair on the porch, and the trees here are in plastic. I have the trees on the porch, and those are stronger maybe to contain tree roots, but at the same time, because they have drainage holes, wood lice, ants, earwigs, all kinds of millipedes, they all like to live in the bottom of the pots. If they don't chew through this fabric, and once I have these on the ground or on the porch, if they don't chew through this because there's no obvious hole, that would be a huge advantage for me to keep insects out of the soil. Pansies. Here are the pansies after only 3 days, and they already look so much better than they did in the ground, simply because there's no rabbit to eat them. I haven't trimmed, these are old blossoms, I haven't trimmed them off. I'm just going to let the plants come back naturally. I'm glad I was able to save them. The grow bag is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Much heavier than the pot that the pansies came in. But at the same time, absolutely wonderful for moving around. The soil stays damp. It didn't overly dry out. These are wonderful grow bags.